Hello everyone, back with another video. I just wanted to go ahead and capture this moment, guys. We're in right now a beautiful garden area in the Arizona Biltmore. I'm currently spending about 1.8K a day, a night, just for a couple nights though, here in one of their villa suites, 1-bedroom suites. And I don't know if you can kind of get an idea of this, just walking around this garden area. It's very beautiful, it's very serene, especially for getting in the right mental space. And see, even though I can afford to be in places like this now, it's really what got me here, right, was being able to be in serene environments and be able to meditate and be able to get my mind right, get my mind clear, and to really imagine and visualize myself in these sorts of places. And it can be really transformative for you if you can get yourself in the right environments. It can be transformative for you if you can even just imagine the right environments. And so you've heard about me talk about it a lot, right? Already feeling like you're already there. Already feeling like you're where you need to be. Doesn't matter if you're making 100K a month, or it doesn't matter if you're just beginning, starting out. Wherever you want to be, you have to feel like you're already there. Okay, you have to do the things that you would do when you're already there. You see what I'm saying? So when you think along the lines of this, now first of all, you have to clear your mind. So like I said, even if you can't get in spaces like this, nature will do the trick just as well, right? If you go out into nature and then you start to meditate, you start to really clear your mind of any thoughts, of any, of your limiting beliefs, all that, you have to get rid of all that as well, first and foremost. But then if you could just clear your mind and get to a present state of being, that's when you can really start from what I call a clean slate. That's when you can allow yourself to go certain places in your imagination. And when you can go certain places in your imagination from a grounded state, then you're going to be able to visualize vividly and clearly. And that's when you're going to actually be able to paint the picture of what you want, which will allow you to actually move towards that thing that you want. Okay, so that's very key. So you're going to want to, again, and really when I say meditate, I don't do all this other meditating that everybody else may do, okay? What I do is I just simply get into certain environments, places like this, or like I said, even just going on a walk and doing things like that. I clear my head of no thoughts, no nothing, which allows me to come from a clean slate again, a grounded place, to where I can then get creative from there. Then I let my mind wander. And when I say let my mind wander, I mean not in thoughts, not in the way of that a lot of people do with limiting beliefs and the mind chatter. No. I let myself imagine. I let myself go to that place in my mind and build what I want to build. And the key thing is, when you build what you want to build, you want to enter that place, not just in your mind, but in physical reality. So for example, where, if you're closing a client, right, if you're having a meeting with a client in, a certain hotel, let's say, where is it happening? What is the environment, and how do you respond? How do you feel? How do you behave? What is it that you're actually doing to get yourself there? Okay, that is what's going to pull you towards it. That's what's going to align you to the feeling itself, is when you imagine yourself being in a certain place and you feel like you already have what you want, that you're already having the results that you want in the environments that you want. That's when it happens. And so even with clients too, I'm very careful with that as well. When I'm meeting with people, whether it's in person, whether it's online, whether it's whatever it is, I'm very careful as far as where I'm at and even where I meet my clients as well. Because for me personally, I need to get into that environment. I think most people work like this. So you got to get into a nice environment of, whether it's peace, whether it's something that can pump you up and inspire you, whatever it is that you're trying to get into, you need to be in an environment that can cultivate that and bring that side of you out of you, so that you can actually, close a client with certainty, right? Close a client with confidence, be able to find that peace and that grounded state that will allow you to really close, or to come from a place of clarity, so you'll know what the next step is. And so that's really what you need to think about, right? Is what environment can cultivate your next step? If it's closing a client, what environment do you think will allow you to have that confidence, or just, again, be in a good feeling state? Feeling is the secret. What environment can make you naturally feel good? Okay, and I'm very intentional about this. I don't just meet my clients anywhere. Okay, I try to choose the right areas. I try to choose the right places that are gonna cultivate that. I mean, look at this, guys. Very serene garden area. Okay, there's plenty of other places like this here as well, with the pools, okay, with all these nice areas, nice greenery. And I mean, an environment like this, it's hard not to feel good. It's hard not to feel at peace, you know, especially before, if you have a business meeting, if you have a client meeting, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest and trying to bring about. It allows you to really feel what you need to feel in order to bring it to you. It's not something you have to work for. People say, how do you feel? How do you get into the state? Guys, I mean, what are you imagining? What's your environment like? Big tree right here. What are you imagining? What are you feeling when it comes to actually having what you want? Notice the environment. If you get into the environment, you'll naturally be grounded and get into that state that you need to get into. This is all you need to do, guys. This is very key. This is very key. So, get into the right environment. See the right environment in your mind first. Okay, be present, clear thoughts, see the right environment in your mind that you're closing the client, you're, getting that partner, you're having the best health, whatever it is. And then get in that environment and do what needs to be done. It's just like the gym, right? If you want to be healthy, what environment do you think you're going to be in? If you want to get healthy, you're going to be in a gym. You see? So environment is number one. And it doesn't matter where you're at right now, right? It's just about using your creativity to then find the environment that's important, to find the environment that aligns with what you're trying to do. And you can do that at any point that you're at. I get it can be tougher if you're still getting started and you're a beginner, etc. with this. But you can get into the right environment regardless, right? You just have to be creative. You just have to find a way, okay? And so I'll leave you off with that. This video is really just important to tell you guys, and the first step among anything is just to get in the right environment. Even if you can't cultivate the right environment in physical form, you can cultivate it in here and live it in imagination, okay? So, get into the right environment. Then it'll transmute physically into form, into an environment such as this, or whatever it is that you're imagining, okay? That you are like, this is the environment that would cultivate a sense of peace, that would cultivate a sense of confidence, certainty, etc. from within me that will allow me to go to the next step in my business, right? In my relationships, my goals, whatever it is for you. So, environment's key. Make sure that you're around the right environment and that you're just, if anything, viewing it from the outside in, if you're just beginning. And then once you actually afford, again, a villa, or again, I didn't have to, that's the other thing, I didn't have to spend that much, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But once you can afford it, then you'll actually be able to live it. But that's another thing. For those of you that can afford it, right? I suggest, because you can get rooms here for about $300 a night, I suggest not going that route. It depends on obviously where you're at. Be smart with your money. But if you can afford the villas, I'm not in a presidential suite, okay? But I am in I'm pretty sure it's one of the more expensive rooms in here with the villas, okay? $1,800 a night. So even when you actually have the money in the funds, it's important not to blow it necessarily, but it's also important to be living that lifestyle, to really cultivate it into your identity. Because I'm telling you, whether it's flying first class, private, any of that stuff, once you buy that ticket and you have that experience, there's not really going back. Like, it's adding to the memory bank, you know what I mean? Like, it's a moment that's like, it's shaping your identity and what you believe is possible when you put yourself in the right environments, in the right states, etc., and cultivate the right experiences into your life. It changes how you see things. It changes how you see your life and what is possible, because you can imagine it, but once you step into it, you're like, oh, then you get it. Then you understand how to break the barriers. You understand how to break the limiting beliefs. And I'm telling you from personal experience, it's all beliefs. It's all limiting beliefs. It's all barriers. I think of it like this, right? You're here, your goal is here, and there's a maze in between you and your goal. Most people try to figure out how to go through the maze, right? This is hard work. This is all this stuff, and ultimately they go through the maze because of unworthiness. The maze, again, is just the blockages to what you want. What I'm telling you is that the maze is made of cardboard. It's made of sandpaper. It's just made of paper, okay? And you can just simply be washed aside and then boom, your goal is a straight line. Now, this is where the time delay thing comes through, right? Because again, in the example, you're here, your goal's here, there's a maze in between. You can simply swipe the maze away and then you can clearly see where your goal is. Now, your goal in the example, remember, there's still a distance between you and your goal, right? So then what do you have to do? You have to walk towards it. You have clarity exactly where it is or how to get to it. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to take any time, right? You still have to walk the distance to your goal. Okay, and so that's where the time delay comes in. People are like, where's the time? I'm telling you, you don't care how much time something will take when you have clarity of mind as to how to get it. It's the whole fridge analogy that I use, right? Nobody thinks about how long it's going to take them to get a sandwich or beverage or something from, if they're sitting on a couch, to the fridge. Nobody thinks about the time delay. Oh, but how long is it going to take? No, why? Because they have clarity as to how to get it. You don't think about how long it's going to take to get up and, I don't know, go to the bathroom and go outside, right? You don't care, because why? You have clarity of destination. You know it's going to happen. You're just focused on the end goal of getting that beverage from the fridge. It's the same exact thing. This is how simple your clarity really is when you actually know what you're doing, when you actually know where your goal is and how to move forward towards it. That's the clarity piece. And you go, well, how do I get to that clarity piece? You have to remove your subconscious blocks that are ultimately causing you to think that it has to be anything more than what it is. You have to remove those blocks, okay? And again, this is what I teach in my one-on-one coaching, so go ahead and check that out in the links in the bio, okay, the Delenta link. And I'll go ahead and help coach you on this, because trust me, you don't want to spend a couple years like I have. I think it's about 3 years I spent until things finally clicked. And to be honest, it could have happened way earlier if I just simply knew what I was doing, because I was doing the same that you guys are probably doing. I was going watching manifestation content, right? Or depending on where you're at in your business, I was going and working really hard. I was working 16 might be exaggerating it, guys, but I was working over 12 hours a day for my business and I wasn't seeing it move. And then once I actually started aligning and getting my mindset right, I actually did less and got a lot more return for it. So again, go ahead and check the links in my bio and I'll help you guys to go ahead and manifest your next 100K a month in your business, whatever it is that wherever it is at that you are currently at with your business.